Hi everybody. I've decided to do a little bit of a sharing of my thoughts here today. And if you hear any noises in the background, I apologize because normally when I'm going into the garden to actually discuss something, there's normally I have a lot of traffic, which doesn't have to be like that. I guess that explains it. But I'm hoping that you'll be able to hear what I'm saying. So, my message to do with what's happening today is about the trafficking and the traffic noises and the traffic energy. Last night I had a pretty much of a download, I would say. Although I think maybe I was just plugging away as much as I could, and I found quite a lot of stuff, which was quite revealing. And the information with regards to what I saw had to do with an exposure of things that happen to be existing in the underworld. I'm calling it the underworld because what else is that other than covert operations taking place in an underground facility like state of mind? Also, what I saw was a map of the entire planet with all places, towns, cities, communities, things that were connected to it that had to do with streaming consciousness, data exchange, trafficking with regards to people, organs, harvesting, things that have been going on quite comfortably using the conscious viral infection as a distraction. And what I experienced was it was in a negative. So, when you look at a picture and the photo is in a negative as opposed to a positive where you would see the colors and everything, and it's just reversed. I was being shown that that had a lot to do with that specific aspect, that things that have been functioning in the negative is now going to be exposed or going to be leaking out. Now, first thing I thought I'd just like to throw in here while I carry on is, if you hear any traffic noises in the background, I think it's because everybody's just decided to carry on working and trying to dodge the authorities, most probably, because people need to work and people need to have money and people need to live. Well, this is South Africa. I'm speaking only from where I am at the moment. As far as getting back to what I was being shown, I did say in the beginning of the year and then last year, gearing up for 2020, that this was the year of the great reveal, and it is so. And if you don't recall anything like that, then please have a look at my channel. The attached video will be in a link at the bottom about the great reveal. A lot of things will be exposed. A lot of things will be opened up for us to see. So now, here's all of the activity going on, operating as usual, using this particular world crisis as an excuse, or is it a distraction, to carry on effortlessly with their trafficking and streaming of information, data streaming between backwards and forwards between different countries, and countries you wouldn't normally expect to work together, which is quite bizarre, and I'm not going to name them here. It's not really particularly important, but it will come out, I can tell you that for sure. Just keep your eyes and your ears open for it to see. It will hemorrhage out. This is the shrugging, Atlas shrugged, and the nature of the energies that we are dealing with is shaking up a lot of things that have been left at the bottom, which we may not have been aware of. This reminds me of living how cities are built on top of cities over centuries, and really where you are is really the previous cities and the cities before that, old civilizations that have just developed and become new civilizations. And obviously this subject matter is quite important, hence the sudden traffic, which very rarely happens, actually. So I'm just going to ignore it, and it can just go back to where it's coming from. So the important thing for us to consider is the world is in a birthing process. I do believe that the nature of this planet does not like to be called a particular name as such, because it is a living organic being, which is the foundation or the roots for our existence. And he, she, it, or organic being presence is repairing and shrugging off and clearing out and purging and giving birth. It's important to realize that fact number one, old world is dying. It's a good thing, it's not a bad thing. The old world as in having a lot of things being hidden and kept secret and abuse and exploitation and all of the nonsense and things like that happens is dying off. And it's quite painful, especially if you thought you could get away with it for a long, long time. Fact number two, new world is being birthed. And for this birthing process to take place, we are having to face the choice of accepting how painful it can become, or how easy it is, or how powerful it is, or how destructive it may be, or how passive or joyous it can become. So what's really happening is like the pangs, the pain of things. I also know that most people, I think everyone really is struggling with the understanding of career changes, life path changes, what to do, how to do it, how to survive, how to sustain. And what I feel very strongly with regards to that aspect is to focus on what always has been there from the beginning within you. Everything that exists on this plane or this reality is designed and developed through the words, through the speaking of the energy into material, into matter. But provided you are aware that you matter in the first place, to be able to give your words presence for it to become a reality. Now there's something else I'd like to add on to this as well. And I'm thinking, what I mentioned to you before is, I spoke in the previous video where I remote viewed that thing, and I did mention, for those who paid attention, that, or for those who could remember, something to do with Babylonian magic that had to do with that particular creation of that thing. Fact is, it's got a covert side to it. Love the wordplay. It's quite interesting to use. We have to be very careful how we say things these days. With regards to the magic that was also put in place. Now, Babylonian magic, which I did do some research on, pertaining to the subject matter, has to do with a lot of things that are being put into place that others would like you to believe in. It's the same protocols that have been used all the time anyway. So that's just for interest's sake, for those who really are interested in actually digging deeper. Another thing I'd like to share with you is that we have to take this with in our personal power to go forward, even if it feels like we're not going forward. It only feels as if we're standing still because we are literally in our own selective individual pockets of timelessness or individual pockets of our own energy. So therefore time does not exist for you the same as it does for me. And therefore this is what creates a fraction or fractalization of all timelines. So please be mindful of that as well. And that if you're experiencing a streaming of consciousness and a streaming of information, that this is overwhelming as it is. Remember the birth pangs. Whether she's letting go and clearing out, he, she, it is clearing out things that have been an obstruction of growth and awakening and awareness. And the only way to stand through all of that, let's call it data streaming, is to again focus on yourself as you always do, because the only way to go forward is to go within, and for you to follow that course as steadfast as you can. So I'm sharing with you this information, and I'm hoping this assists in one way or another. And thank you so much for always supporting and being connected as you are. We are the Titans, don't forget. Even if we have to remind ourselves. The Titans had a world which was taken, which they were thrown down into during the time of the Golden Age. And they had lost the war with the other gods, the ones that they placed above them. Therefore, the war was to get the Titans to be subjected to those gods' timelines and those gods' rules and perceptions and beliefs and orders. Now the Titans are taking back their power, but they are approaching it from within, a different way than how it was. So I'll leave that with you. Much love. Thank you. Bye.